The Motor Vehicle Accident Fund, which was established in 1991, provides assistance to persons injured in road crashes as well as support to dependents of persons killed on Namibian roads. This is in accordance with the MVA Act 10 of 2007. The fund provides medical benefits, funeral grants, injury grants, loss of income, as well as loss of support. This week, the village's RODNEY PIENAAR sat down with the MVA CEO, Rosalia Martins-Hausiku, and this is what she had to say.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. My journey at the fund has been quite an enriching one, personally, professionally. So I had a lot of aspirations at the time that I took over at the fund. We know in corporate Namibia, it's not a secret of the challenges that were there and some that still persist with the MVA fund. So I actually envisaged playing a meaningful role in Namibia as regards the purpose that the fund was created for. Historically, we know that the fund had financial difficulties, and I made it a point that if there was one thing that if I had left the fund, I would be able to look back and say it's something that together with the team that I have in place, we managed to achieve. It was really to achieve financial independence. Now, it is quite important and it was quite important then for the fund to achieve financial independence or sustainability, because everything that we intend doing for our clientele depended highly on that, be it the benefits that we want to improve for our clients, be it the fund being here or being around way after some of us have left behind. It all depended on our ability to pay current claims, to pay future claims, and also improve the benefits for our clients. In addition to that, I intended to put processes and policies in place that would ensure that we are efficient and also improve the service offering that we have for our clients. When I took over, we said that our vision will be focused on really assisting our clients to attain independence, be it returning school goers to school, those who had to leave their workplace for the time of recovery. Part of our objectives was to return them back to work. So that being a priority, it means that our processes and our policies must really support the plans that we want to put in place, specifically in the area of rehabilitation. We had just partnered, when I took over, we had just partnered with a Swedish organization that really focuses on rehabilitation for persons that have picked up spinal cord injuries. So setting that up and also learning from the best in this world, we visited New Zealand, we visited Australia. We believe that in our own Namibian context, we could set up a similar structure so that we can start rehabilitating our patients, so that we can bring in community social rehabilitation. Those are areas that the fund had not ventured in before. So we wanted to a next level for our clientele, and those are the areas that I had envisaged to impact, and not forgetting, obviously, my staff, my team. I've always believed that for us to deliver the superior customer service that we've always targeted over the years, we need to have satisfied employees. We need to have employees who are emotionally, who are rationally engaged. So part of my journey was also to engage my team on how we could improve relations, employee relations, so that we could ultimately be able to serve our clients at our best.
Mm-hmm. So what is the change that the MVA fund is supposed to bring to the Namibian society?
Well, if we look at the MVA fund mandate, it is really there. Initially, it was established to compensate persons who have been injured in motor vehicle crashes or families of those that had perished in motor vehicle crashes. I believe that our government at the time, the thought process was that not everybody is insured. And when, unfortunately, something as gruesome as a motor vehicle crash occurs, lives are changed, lives are impacted, families are divided, financially, socially, and in other areas, psychologically, emotionally, families are touched. So I would want to believe that the intention for government was to set up a social safety net to really pick up those that come across or that unfortunately face these crashes and their resultant injury. However, as the MBA Fund has evolved over the years, we've moved from being a mere compensatory system to really that social safety net that it was intended to. Now we are partners with our customers. We travel the road of recovery with them. We support the families, and I believe that we are really there to provide that peace of mind and try to put the families in a similar position had the crash not occurred. And that's why I see that we are involved in their recovery journey, in the rehabilitation, returning them back to work. So the MBA Fund is now part and parcel of that. We are involved from the point that we hear of the crash until that time that the person is reintegrated back to their families.
Okay, over for the last decade, the fund has had several road safety campaigns promoting safe driving, yet accidents in Namibia still remain high. Why is this?
To deal with motor vehicle crashes, one has to look at the multidisciplinary approach, and I believe that that's an area that as Namibia we must still graduate in. We've tried various efforts, and the MBA Fund has joined other agencies, both private and public institutions, as we try to tackle the issue of road carnage on our roads. There have been some wins. However, there are also areas where we are challenged. Some of the years were good and some not, but it's a combination of factors. Firstly, we should look at over 90% of the crashes that occur has to do with human behavior. So the question begs, how do we as humans play our part? How do we take responsibility for our own safety and the safety of others using our roads? So we need to have a mind shift in that regard. We compare ourselves with developed countries, and there's nothing wrong with that. As the MBA Fund, we have that stand belief that we go out there, even though our demographics are not the same with these European countries. There's a lot that we can learn from them, and we can use our local environment, change it here and there, and it suits our local environment. And sometimes it actually does work. So if we look at the developed countries, they've gone for Vision Zero, where they really can't tolerate death on public roads. And I think we should also look towards the same, and they've adopted the safe systems approach that looks at the safe vehicles, safe road users, and also the supportive IT infrastructure, and we can actually look into that. I know for us our steps will probably take longer. We can start with baby steps, and definitely we'll get there. By that we mean we look at our vehicles, the maintenance of our vehicles, our vehicles fit to be on the roads. We look at that. Also the type of tires that we are importing in the country, are they doing us good or basically just postponing a problem? And then we look at the road users, our behavior, the issue that I spoke about. How do we drive the issue home where road safety is everyone's responsibility? Whether you are a pedestrian, whether you are a passenger, whether you are a driver, when you are embarking on a journey, when you are getting into your car, what role should you play pre-journey and during the journey and also post-journey to ensure that our roads are safe. And then with that also, we know that as human beings, there's a certain level where we can only do so much and we'll fail. Then we want the supportive IT infrastructure to come in, you know, where we have cameras. Sometimes we see cameras as punitive, but cameras and other supportive devices that would just remind us, reduce your speed, put on your seatbelt, and also where we now went the extra mile, we've probably consumed. There are basically systems when you get in the vehicle, it wouldn't start. And then coupled to that is now when we get offenders, is that there's a point demerit system that eventually leads to confiscation of driver's licenses. But also with that confiscation, you need to have a monitoring system that ensures that those who are unlicensed are not on the roads, because it's difficult if you don't have a monitoring system. The mere removal of my physical license, that does not keep me away from the roads. So those are really some of the solutions that we have, and if everything comes together, I believe the fight for road reduction in road carnage would really start yielding results that we could, as Namibia, be proud of. Now, as you've actually said that it's been on the increase every year. There are some, like I said, there are some years when it goes up, some years it goes down, but ideally we want to see a reduction where we say we were at 20%, now we're at 15%, now we're at 10%. And remember, Namibia is a signatory to the Decade of Action on Road Safety, and we promised that we're going to have fatalities by 50%. I think at that time we were having about 300 persons dying on our roads per annum. Now we are having 650 or so on average every year. So definitely our statistics have gone up. That then has also created a challenge for the MBA fund. If we look at one of the challenges that really threatens the financial sustainability of the MBA fund, it's the ever-increasing road crashes and the resultant injuries, because then that means that we have to pay more in medical treatment as well.
Okay, the fund has recently scooped the Africa Gender Award in 2017. Can you tell us about how MBA fund got to be a conduct for this award?
So this award came as a rather surprise for the MBA fund. Other awards that we've won in the past years, Best Company to Work For, those were sort of expected because we know that we put in a lot of effort, and throughout the year our HR partners and the leaders of the various business units have really driven efforts to ensure that we improve our employee satisfaction. So those awards were sort of expected. This one was quite a surprise. We were informed that Namibia as a country was getting the Gender is My Agenda, or GMAC award. And alongside the president, when he receives this award that has been previously won by other African presidents, he will have to receive it with one public enterprise, one private company, and then somebody from the media fraternity. And through the forum, the CEO forum for the public enterprises, we received the memo from the Ministry of Gender. I actually didn't think that the MBA fund would win it. There was a lot of requirements. We had to look at the advancement and promotion of women programs, women development of women in subjects such as mathematics, the sciences, and then also the furtherance of women agenda, such as leadership, of visible leadership of women in public enterprises, women representation on boards of public enterprises, also advancement of programs that promote safety and security for women, also covering the issue of gender-based violence. So there was quite a huge criteria. And at the fund we have a lot of programs that advance women. Firstly is that our composition, the majority of our employees are women, and that also makes it that in management women are fairly represented. They are about 50% in middle management. In top management it's about 50-50. If you look at the composition in our board, women are also quite well represented. We have a board of 5 members, and then 2 are women. So they looked at all these criteria, and I want to believe that there was a panel that was set up by the Ministry of Gender, and the MBA Fund emerged as winners of that award. I must say that I was really deeply humbled by it. I know that we have certain programs where we just try to include the women in our workplace, where we discuss financial, social issues, relationship issues affecting the women in our workplace, just so that there is an avenue besides work where women can talk about women issues. So we've created such platforms at work, but when these are recognized out there, it really means a lot to us. It encourages us also to move forward with it.
My name is TANJA CLOETE. I am 30 years old. I work at MBA Fund as a switchboard operator, and I'm as well the Goodwill Ambassador for the Click for Life Road Safety Campaign. So today I'm going to share my story, basically my accident, how it all happened, just to make you aware that I wasn't born this way. So my accident happened on the 20th of July 2008, 30 kilos before Rosh Hashanah, and I could only remember waking 2 weeks after in the ICU unit of Mediclinic. As I was told, the driver lost control of the vehicle and he died on the spot. The passenger that was sitting next to the vehicle, next to the driver, she sustained minor injuries, and I was thrown out of the vehicle. It's where I've injured my spinal cord, and today I'm wheelchair bound. It was a very difficult road as to I didn't have any medical aid, so I was first admitted at Katetura Hospital, and through medical staff, and they basically told my mother that no, you can call MBA Fund, they will be willing to assist on your medical bills, etc. So by the time a case manager from MBA Fund visited the hospital and got involved, they realized that I've sustained much injuries and had to be transferred to Mediclinic Hospital, which is a private hospital, where I was admitted in the ICU unit because I injured my lungs and I couldn't breathe on my own. So I was admitted for 2-3 weeks in the ICU unit, and after that I was sent to Paramount Hospital. It's a daycare center basically where you get rehab, and where I was trained to life in a wheelchair. So basically after a week my mother then realized that no, there's no improvement. So she contacted MBA Fund and asked MBA Fund, is there no other facility that will be able to help me in this rehab process just to get better? And the MBA Fund consulted South Africa's rehab centers, and after a week I was flown to Port Elizabeth in South Africa, and I was admitted in Aroma Healthcare Center, which is a rehab facility. And that was one of the best times in my life I can remember, because I basically learned how to adapt to being in a wheelchair. I was physically trained, emotionally. I got psychological help because I mean, you've been walking for 20 years and you wake up and you just told that there's no way you can walk again. So they basically told me that this is not the end of the world. They trained me on how to use a wheelchair. They trained me on cooking. They basically trained me on how to get my independence back. And I remember that when they told me, no, your 3 months is over, you have to go back to Namibia, I was devastated. I was so scared because, you know, in PE it was a thing of, I was very relaxed because firstly no one knew me. So they've known me, or gotten to know me as a person in a wheelchair. So going back to Namibia, I was faced with, is society going to accept me as a wheelchair person? How, you know, all this, you get to a point where you start to realize, will I be able to get a job? And all these concerns started happening. And as soon as I came back, I was really devastated because I've lost a lot of friends. It felt like they are ashamed of me. It felt like I wasn't good enough. I was struggling. I was so depressed. I used to go to the doctor almost every second day. Through MV Fund, basically, who helped me, because once again, as I've said, if MV Fund didn't step in Katutura already, where they saw the severity of my injury and transferred me to Meta Clinic. There already was the change, because, you know, my mother used to tell me at Katutura Hospital, the week that I was laying there, it was the last. She really thought that I won't be able to make it. So they really helped me to get the best of medical help that I can, knowing that I didn't have a medical aid. So when I came back from South Africa, where I got the rehab, I was more aware, but also I had to learn that I need to explain to my parents, I need to also educate them on how to live with, how to handle me as a wheelchair-bound lady, because this was all new. Nobody in our family was ever in a wheelchair. So I had to make them aware of what I've learned in South Africa. And I called my case manager from MBF and almost every day, just make me an appointment at the doctor, I'm not feeling okay. But I was basically depressed, because the more you stay home, the more you think. The more you think, you get worried, you think about life, you think about the expenses, you think about people, you think about why are they not visiting me, but life goes on. So I was really depressed in the matter that I told my doctor, I just want to keep busy, I just want to work or do something just to refrain from all these negative thoughts. So he called me the Sunday. It's like, no, you can start working tomorrow as a receptionist at my practice, which was basically the best news ever. And there was a rehab on its own, because I realized that I'm still human. I can still do anything else that an able person can do. I can still work, I can still keep busy and all those. And the nice thing is, my case manager from MFN used to come visit the doctor's practice where I was working, to make sure that I'm equipped with all necessary goods, and to make my life as at the workplace easier, and that it's wheelchair friendly. The toilets are well equipped, the toilets are spacious for me to move and to move, and also that I'm not being discriminated due to the fact that I'm in a wheelchair, disabled. So I can honestly say, in every aspect of my life, where I've been or what I've gone through, MBFN was always involved and always made sure that whatever I do, wherever I go, they made sure that I'm not being discriminated. From there onwards, I remembered, MBFN used to have Wheelchair Fun Day, wheelchair rides. They used to host events whereby people in wheelchairs come together, and meeting all the employees and meeting all the other people that's in wheelchairs, I had this thing of, gosh, I can't wait. One day I'll work for them. So as soon as it's a position for switchboard operator, there's a vacant that's open, I called HR, I applied for the position, I was called for the interview, and 2 months after I was told that I got the position and I started working here, which was the best of news up to date, because working for the best company it's a company where you can grow, it motivates you. Firstly, because I'm a claimant as well, they made sure that everything is wheelchair friendly, that my workspace is has the necessary equipment for me to do my work, that I don't struggle with going to the bathroom or what, ramps everywhere. So I never faced a challenge at MV Fund working here. And up to date what he has done, if I still need to go to the doctor, I just call my case manager, please make an appointment, I have this. But it has to be obviously injury related. Then they make an appointment at my doctor if I have back pains, if I need to go for physio. So working for MV Fund and being a claimant as well, for me as an employee working for MV Fund, you just realize again how much you do, how much you make a difference in someone's life. And as a claimant, I get to appreciate MV Fund more. Because once again, as I've said, if it wasn't for MV Fund, I wouldn't have been where I am today. I wouldn't have known if I would have even survived, even if I didn't get the medical help that I did, which was the top, the standard of medical help. Today, I am the Goodwill Ambassador for the Click for Life campaign, whereby I tell my story as what has happened. I inform people on bringing awareness on road safety. Click for Life campaign is basically for you to wear your seatbelt. I've noticed as the main group that we target basically is the youth, because as usual, the first thing you do when you get in your car is you tune on the music or you text your friend, listen, I'm on my way, and then you totally forget about putting on your seatbelt and you drive. And just by that, I mean, I've made a choice. I made a wrong choice. I didn't wear my seatbelt, and today I am the cause. I see the cause of not wearing a seatbelt, because 40 to 60% of injuries are caused. 40 to 60% of injuries can be prevented by wearing a seatbelt. So I bring awareness to people, telling them that, listen, I've made the wrong choice. Please, your injury can be prevented by wearing your seatbelt. So that's what I do, and that's what I enjoy, because at the end of the day, you need to tell your story to make people aware of what you've been through. And as I've said, it's not an easy road. I've spoken and I've said to people that, yeah, you can see me in a wheelchair and think, no, it's fine. But it's not. It's a roller coaster ride every day, especially knowing that you've been walking for 20 years. So if I can tell people every day through my awareness that you have to put on a seatbelt to save your life or to prevent your injuries, knowing also you're able person, I'll do that, and for the rest of my life, just to know that I can make a difference in someone's life. Thank you.